Hello, I just wanted to take a moment to look at a film which I saw recently. This is the Will Smith movie, Bright. It came out in 2017, but I only saw it this weekend because whilst I like the idea of the premise, it was directed by the same person who made The Suicide Squad, which I regarded as eye vomit when I saw it. But I, like most right-thinking people, am quite fond of Will Smith, so I guess it was only a matter of time until I got round to seeing it.
Fairy lives don't matter today.
If you're not familiar with the setup, the story takes place in an alternative reality, where the Middle Ages took place in Middle-earth, and now in the present human beings have learnt to live alongside, but not really integrate with, orcs and elves.
You're disappointed in me. I know that you think that I let you down.
Will Smith plays Ward, a grumpy cop and family man who has just recovered from getting shot, an incident which he blames on the lapse of concentration of his partner, Jacoby, who is an orc, by the way.
Coming.
I don't know how much time it takes to recover from a gunshot in this world, but that time's elapsed, and now they're back on the beat together. We see the tensions between the orc and the human communities, whilst the elves tend to be in the story's background.
An orc with a badge. Incredible.
That's some shit you don't see every day.
Ward and Jacoby pick up a vagrant who informs the audience, but not our heroes, about magic wands and brights, the people who can control them.
They're elves.
Renegade elves.
The rest of the movie is a MacGuffin hunt, which is basically Lethal Weapon with a Lord of the Rings skin put over
Fuck it. I want to die. Let's do it right now. We're gonna titty bar gunfight die.
The makeup is great. Will Smith and Joe Edgerton have good chemistry. It's an interesting premise. It moves at quite a lick. So why didn't I like it more?
You're a good cop. And people are really hard on you.
Well, I've been thinking about it quite a lot, and my biggest problem is that it's got the A story and B story around the wrong way.
You recognize her?
It's Layla.
The alternative reality race relation story is up front. Ward's colleagues are dicks, both in front of and behind of Jacoby's back. Ward himself is casually racist in that turn a blind eye kind of way. A full 30 minutes have elapsed by the time we're told about the magic, which is too late to be setting up anything other than a B story. Whilst one could reasonably argue that this world implies that magic exists, I felt like this was another new thing to get my head around after 30 minutes of what the fuck moments. As a result, it was a leap of faith too far, and I ended up watching the rest of the film with a cynical eye rather than rolling with the punches.
Use the wand and magicked everybody to fuck up.
If you could imagine this for a moment. What if the film started with a grumpy single Will Smith stamping a fairy to death, not because he's been asked to by his wife, but because he's a grumpy bastard, and seeing a pretty but annoying pest die gives him a release. We see him on his first day back on the beat, and we notice he has a limp from a past injury. Then we see him giving orcs a tough time whilst going lightly on humans for doing exactly the same crime. That's when he comes across the vagrant, arrests him, and gets the confession himself. Then the next scene would be Will Smith getting a new partner, which he doesn't want because he works alone. But his boss insists that orcs are good with magic, and this one speaks a little Elvish. Then the film would continue from there. That way it would be a story about magic with an undercurrent of race relations rather than the other way round.
You think you could get a burrito and watch my back like every other cop manages to do?
Yes.
Or alternatively, drop the magic stuff completely. The race stuff is the important part of the story. And these scenes between the two stars are the best things in the film. I was told that when the director was making Suicide Squad, the studio, unhappy with David Ayer's edit, made their own cut of the film. And then when both tested badly, they smushed the two versions together to make a film guaranteed to satisfy no
You
one.
will not be listening to no orcish music.
So keeping that in mind, I don't know how much of this film was monkeyed around with by other people, because it feels compromised.
We can't run all night. Let's do it.
Apparently, they're making a sequel to this film, which David Ayers is writing himself. I think the premise is interesting enough to warrant giving this a second go, so I'm going to watch it. Well, that's if I'm not working on other projects. I'm Scott Kingsnorth, and I'm making a movie.